Hi guys, so this video is kind of a response and a review of The Great Gatsby, and the reason is that one of my subscribers, Kelsey, who's also Gothic Lenny, I don't know how to say that, but she mentioned it and I told her how much I loved it, and so she read it and did a little video review, and I kind of wanted to respond. And so this is my copy of The Great Gatsby. It's kind of ratty and tatty. I normally will buy books pretty cheap if I can, unless it's something I absolutely love and want a really nice copy, but mostly I like to mark my stuff up. I put post-its in them, and I scribble in the pages and the margins, so I like kind of having the older copies to do that. Anyway, so Gatsby I read in high school, and I didn't really remember it very much. I've been out of high school over 10 years, and when you do your credential to teach, you have to do student teaching, which means you're basically like an intern. So last year, I started out in junior high for a couple hours a day, and then the second semester you do pretty much a full day in the high school. So I had 4 classes, juniors and seniors, two juniors, 2 senior classes, and my juniors were starting Gatsby. So I came up with the lesson plans, the activities. The teacher I worked with helped, kind of guide and give me ideas. But I fell in love with the book by teaching it. I started out by watching the film just to refresh myself, and the Robert Redford version is pretty similar, the older version with Mia Farrow and Robert Redford. By the way, if you're not familiar with Robert Redford, you need to start watching some stuff. I recommend Gatsby and The Way We Were with Barbra Streisand, which will make you cry. But anyway, Robert Redford's hot. He's like an older Brad Pitt. So the reason I love this so much, gosh, there's so many reasons. I hate Daisy, number one. I didn't like her in the book, and I definitely didn't like her in the film. I thought she was annoying and spoiled rotten and obnoxious, and I think her and Tom deserve each other. But I love Gatsby, and I kind of have a thing for Nick, although not as much as Gatsby. But, and Jordan, I think, was the most down-to-earth character in the whole book. Like, she told it how it was. She was, you see what you get. Like, there wasn't really any mystery about Jordan. She was just kind of a normal woman. But anyhow, so the first thing that I like in the book is that there's this focus of the American dream. It happened kind of in the 20s, and bootlegging was going on and all these things, but there was kind of this decay of the American dream. Can you get what you want? Should everybody be able to get what they want? And I think the idea of the other characters, Tom and Myrtle, if you're not familiar with the book, I'm sorry, but Tom and Myrtle and Wilson, George Wilson, they live in the Valley of Ashes, and they have this sad, pathetic life. They don't really love each other anymore, or George loves her, but she doesn't really care for him. She's sleeping with Tom. So you have, Tom cheating on Daisy with Myrtle, and Myrtle cheating on George, and then Daisy's cheating on Tom with Gatsby, and so everybody's not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, but George and Myrtle don't really have any way to get what they want. They're poor, their life is kind of at a dead end, and so for the two of them to end up dying in the book, it makes sense, like they didn't really have anything to live for. Myrtle wasn't happy, and George wasn't happy without Myrtle, and he couldn't give her what she wanted. And then for Gatsby wasn't ever going to get what he wanted. He had this impossible dream of being with Daisy, where Daisy had already married Tom, she'd had a child. You can't go back and erase things, and I guess that's the last line in the book, is that, we beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. So the idea that you are everything from your past. I'm 29-year-old me, but I'm also 5-year-old me, and I'm 15-year-old me, and I'm 22-year-old me, and that all those experiences make you who you are, and you can't erase that. So for Gatsby, he wanted to go back and be with Daisy like Tom had never existed, and that was impossible. She did love Tom at some point. She had a child with Tom. You can't go back and take those things away. And what he wanted was for her to say that she'd never loved Tom, that she'd always only wanted him, and then it would be all right. But for all the bad things that Gatsby does, he's not doing legal things, but you still respect him because he's still a good person at heart, and he has this kind of beautiful dream of how the world should be, even though he doesn't necessarily do the right things to get it. And there's something about that, like, if you know you're never going to get something, or maybe you don't, you just refuse to admit it. Like, you have so much faith in something that you're not willing to give up no matter what. And that's really, I don't know, like, to try to describe that to people, it's really hard. Like, my kids had a hard time getting it. Like, why is he so great? And I kept trying to tell them, you know, like, he wasn't willing to give up. He was willing to do whatever it took. He confronted Tom about it. Like, he really thought that Daisy and him could be together. So I don't know. There's something about it that really struck with me. How everybody kind of searches for the same thing. We all want someone we can love, and I don't know. And Tom and Daisy end up together because they're both kind of shitty. Daisy was kind of obsessed with money, and it wasn't, I don't think, that she didn't love Gatsby, but if you're from high society, you can't really go be with someone who isn't from the same stature. And although Gatsby had all that money, he was still kind of, he was doing, you know, dishonorable things, and like, she wouldn't have the same reputation. She'd have to leave the security of Tom behind. The idea of divorce back then, you know, not a good thing. So sometimes people would rather be miserable together to represent an image, I guess, than to really go after what they want at the risk of their reputation. So I don't know. I think I'm just rambling, but there's so much about it that I really liked. And I felt really sorry for Myrtle, honestly. The fact that she was never going to get what she wanted either from George or Tom. She was kind of doomed from the beginning. And then I love the billboard. Dr. T.J. Eckelberg, there's this billboard, and George thinks it's God. The eyes of the doctor looking over the Valley of Ashes. But, you know, if you're a religious person, I guess you could ask, you know, where is God in all this? And when things go wrong and sad things happen, you know, can you blame that or pin that on a higher power? Or should somebody be looking out for you? Or do things happen for a reason? Or is it just, you know, all coincidence? But anyway, yeah. If you watch the movie too, I think the book makes a lot more sense. At least it did for me. Although, like I said, teaching it, I got pretty in depth. But I hope that makes sense and I'm not just rambling. But yeah. So you should read Great Gatsby. And also, Nick's not really a reliable narrator. He says that, you know, oh, I never drink, and then he's drunk. But I like that Nick kind of has this curiosity, and he says that he doesn't judge people, even though he does. But I like those kind of people who are, you could tell anything to, and you don't feel like they're going to think less of you. Maybe they do, but they don't ever act like it. And so the fact that he functions like that, where he gets to tell the story and know everyone, and know everybody's secrets, I think it works really well. And I don't feel like I really got to know Nick very well, though. I mean, I know a little bit about him, but I think out of all the characters, the narrator is the one you know the least about. So anyway, yeah, so go read Gatsby. There's also a biography of Fitzgerald that explains a lot of the things that happen. You know, rich girls don't marry poor boys. It was true to real life. I guess before he met his wife Zelda, he was in love with this girl who was out of his league, and so it was kind of based on that first love, you know, that Gatsby reflects for Daisy. So anyhow, that's my thoughts. I hope I get to teach it again. I should probably review Streetcar Named Desire. The kids thought it was horrible. They're like, why does everybody die? It's depressing. Nobody gets what they wanted. Tom and Daisy are the only one who gets, get what they wanted, which might be some commentary on, men's roles in society and how men get what they want. Because Daisy really didn't get what she wanted either. But anyway. Alright, well, hope you're all doing great, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Bye.